Back in 1927, an American socialist, Norman Thomas, 6 times candidate for president on the Socialist Party ticket, said the American people would never vote for socialism. But he said under the name of liberalism, the American people will adopt every fragment of the socialist program.
I mean, I think Ronald Reagan changed the trajectory of America in a way that, Richard Nixon did not, and in a way that Bill Clinton did not. He put us on a fundamentally different path because the country was ready for it.
What I said is that Ronald Reagan was a transformative political figure because he was able to get Democrats to vote against their economic interests to form a majority to push through their agenda, an agenda that I objected to.
He put us on a fundamentally different path because the country was ready for it.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
We would set up a government-based plan.
If we can only break through and get our foot inside the door, then we can expand the program after that.
You'll still be able to make a profit, but you're not going to make a killing.
One of the traditional methods of imposing statism or socialism on a people has been by way of medicine. It's very easy to disguise a medical program as a humanitarian project. Most people are a little reluctant to oppose anything that suggests medical care for people who possibly can't afford it.
The enforcement mechanism is that we're providing subsidies to people who can't afford health insurance.
James Madison, in 1788, speaking to the Virginia Convention, said, "Since the general civilization of mankind, I believe there are more instances of the abridgment of the freedom of the people by gradual and silent encroachment of those in power than by violent and sudden usurpations."
They have the option of buying into the government plan, or they can go out on the private market, but we won't give a subsidy to pay for a plan that does not abide by these basic criteria.
The doctor begins to lose freedoms. It's like telling a lie, and one leads to another. First, you decide that the doctor can have so many patients. They're equally divided among the various doctors by the government. But then the doctors aren't equally divided geographically. So a doctor decides he wants to practice in one town, and the government has to say to him, "You can't live in that town. They already have enough doctors. You have to go someplace else." And from here it's only a short step to dictating where he will go. This is a freedom that I wonder whether any of us have the right to take from any human being.
I spent a lifetime fighting against Ronald Reagan's policies.
I think they felt like, with all the excesses of the 60s and the 70s, and, government had grown and grown, but there wasn't much sense of accountability in terms of how it was operating. And I think, people just he tapped into what people were already feeling, which is we want clarity, we want optimism, we want, a return to that sense of dynamism and entrepreneurship that had been missing.
You'll still be able to make a profit, but you're not going to make a killing.
In this country of ours took place the greatest revolution that has ever taken place in world's history, the only true revolution. Every other revolution simply exchanged one set of rulers for another. But here, for the first time in all the thousands of years of man's relation to man, a little group of men, the Founding Fathers, for the first time, established the idea that you and I had within ourselves the God-given right and ability to determine our own destiny. Write those letters now, call your friends and tell them to write them. If you don't, this program, I promise you, will pass just as surely as the sun will come up tomorrow. And behind it will come other federal programs that will invade every area of freedom as we have known it in this country, until one day, as Norman Thomas said, we will awake to find that we have socialism. And if you don't do this, and if I don't do it, one of these days you and I are going to spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.